Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, September 15th, 2022. Ooh, normally it'd be happy hour, but now that I'm in the suburbs, it's hard to do happy hour at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because everywhere in the suburbs that I have to do something, I got to drive to go do. So it makes happy hour a little bit harder. When I was in the city, I was just walking everywhere anyway, so it didn't matter. But here, I don't know. Happy hour is harder to do. I got to get more recovery drinks and stuff like that in. I need to put it in order. I'm running low on gels. I'm running low on mukbang food. So probably be placing it over the weekend. And then maybe next week we'll have some happy hour. But, well, before I forget, this weekend, tomorrow, my parents are coming into town. They're going to visit us. They're going to stay here for a week. I'm not sure what the live stream schedule is going to be like next week. So we may have a couple. We might not have any. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how things go with my parents. It's mainly because I'll probably want to do stuff with them during the day. So we'll have to think about that a little bit more and get back to you guys on it. But before I get any further, let's welcome everyone that's listening on the podcast, on the audio only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run out there today. Today I went for a run, did some trail miles, easy trails, but trail miles in the Tecton X. Took the Insta360 OneX3. I feel like they got to get the one out of the name. Just call it X3, right? But the OneX3 is the new one. It looks very different than the old one, but also very similar to the old one. It's got a giant screen on it now, a lot bigger than the useless circular one they had before. But it's also just really heavy. I haven't had a chance to take a look at any of the footage yet. So as far as quality goes, I'm not sure. But I do already have a lot of thoughts about this camera. But we can get into that later. And hopefully you guys on the podcast are having a good run. That's ultimately where I was going on that. I got on a little tangent. Everyone watching this on YouTube later, after the fact, hopefully you had a good dinner today. And cleanup's not too bad. So welcome to you guys. All right. We got Runner Will. He says, hello, everyone. Hope your day's going stellar. Man, I've always liked the Fresh Foam more, Mike. I might have to get the 4s after I get back from Berlin. That's right. Today's video was about the Fresh Foam more version 4. It's excellent. I had a lot of fun making the video. It's an easy video to make. When a shoe is great, it's a fun video to make. That's easy because then it's just it's great. I really enjoyed it. Here's why I liked it. It's fun. And so that was today. It's a big shoe, but it carries the weight well. And it's a lot of fun. And I feel like it's going to be probably one of the most accessible max cushion shoes that's on the market. A lot of times, the Bondi, that's a statement shoe. You know what I mean? The Bondi X, a statement shoe. Even I know the Super Comp Trainer is not really a max cushion shoe. It kind of is and it isn't. It's a tall stack height shoe, but it's not necessarily max cushion. You know what I mean? It's a statement. It looks like a big old shoe. Now the Fresh Foam More version 4 looks like a big old shoe, but it doesn't feel like a big old shoe. So, I'm a big fan of it. So if you guys are interested, check out the video today. Mace Windex says, hi, Co. I like the Mach 4 loads more than Noblesse 2. Do you think I would like the Mach 5 more than Noblesse 3? I'd say maybe not. I think that the Noblesse 3 is just really, really good, but probably given your prior history. And Mace Windex also wants to know, how does the More 3 compare to the More version 4? The version 3 to the 4, it's heavier, clunkier, and hotter. But it was one of the best max cushion shoes last year. It was the best max cushion shoe last year. Bisham Mom R says, hi, everyone. Welcome. Good to see you. And Eliza says, hi, Co-Fam. Today's video is good. I've tried thick shoes like the Hoka, but ended up kicking my ankles. Maybe this will change my mind. This one is a lot lighter, but it still has that wide platform like the Bondi does this year. So it might not. But if you're kicking your ankles a lot, that might be a little bit of indicator that you have some weaknesses somewhere in the chain, somewhere between your knees and your hips. So I used to kick my ankles. I used to kick my calves quite a bit. Back when I ran cross country a lot, especially when I would get tired, after every meet, I would have a line of dirt across the inner part of my calves because my feet would end up kicking each other. It's a fatigue thing. So I don't know if that's what's going on, Eliza. Sean Devlin says, hey, everyone, stellar day here in Massachusetts. Getting excited for fall. Fall in the Northeast is really nice. The leaves changing colors, Sean? Luis says, yo, what's going on? And I'm Half Pedro says, good afternoon, everyone. Eric says, what's up, everyone? Good to see y'all. You guys are in a good mood today. Eric says, has your opinion on the Tecton X changed? Are you still mad on it? So I'm still mad on it. And I think it's because they sent me a bigger size. Now, Hoka this year has been doing weird stuff. They've been just sending me all sorts of sizes of shoes, sometimes 2 sizes of shoes. I have more Hoka shoes this year than I've ever had. Because they keep sending me stuff in a 9 and a 9.5. But the Tecton X, they've only sent to me in a 9.5. And I feel like that's a shoe really that they should have gotten it to me in a 9. I have the Mafate 4 in a 9.5 and a 9. The Mafate I like in a 9.5. Speed Goat 5, I like in a 9. Do I have that? I think I only have that in a 9. Mach 5, I like it in a 9. The 9.5 just seems too big. So I think that's what's going on with the Tecton. I think the sizing is really wrong for me. And so, when you have a shoe that's half a size too big, it just feels a little bit like a boat, even if it's an exciting shoe. And I think that's what's going on. Because otherwise it's, it kind of, like the other day on this same route, I took the Mach 5. And I feel like they're not that different in terms of like on this easy, really runnable trail. Like with some, there's some like routes. There's a little bit of up and down, nothing too extended. But like not a mountain trail by any means, but for like a park in a town, it's pretty hilly at times. And I took the Mach 5 and the Tecton X, and they feel pretty similar. But I just think that if I had the Tecton X in the right size, I'd like it more. But maybe I'm being too generous. I don't know. I just have never really liked the Tecton X. Jason Dahl says, hey, everyone. JC says, good afternoon. And Lucy Becerra says, looky Lou at the new Insta360. That's what I'm going to call those eyes. Looky Lou. Every time I see those eye emojis, because I don't know what else to call them. Stevie76 says, a Tangent applied for a credit card but was denied because he couldn't find anyone willing to co-sign. It's a good one. You're just reading them out of a book? Do you like pick one a day? Maybe you got one of those daily calendars. Remember when that was like a really big thing? Everyone had one. I had one. And maybe this was, I think that there's no doubt in my mind that the height of like the daily calendar where you would like rip off a piece of paper every day, the height of popularity of those coincided with the height of popularity of malls. So like right around like the mall rats era, a little bit after that, like remember there was always a calendar kiosk like in the middle of the mall. It never had its own like full store. It was in a little booth in the middle of the store of the mall. And it always boggled my mind, like, how often do people need to buy calendars? Like 1 month a year, December, right? But yet this place stays open the entire year. But I had one. It was it was for vocabulary. I was in high school. I was really lame. Shannon says, hey, Co-Famsy. First one in the Invincibles, sweet ride. Recovery was the intention for the purpose, but ZoomX downhill is not so relaxed. Yeah, that's interesting. That's the third time that I've come across the Invincibles in like the last hour. So you are telling me about it now. ZoomX downhill. Yeah, that's a bouncy shoe. And then when I came in, I was replying to some comments, and someone was asking me about if I was going to review the ZoomX Invincible 2s. And I was like, probably not, because I'm not going to run in those this year. It's like the same shoe as last year. I don't think they changed anything. And so I said no. And then I was finally finished the podcast, the Believe in the Run podcast, The Drop, with Joe Rubio from Running Warehouse, one of the co-founders of Running Warehouse. And he talked about he likes running fast in the Invincibles. And that's weird because I haven't heard about that shoe in a long time, and it's 3 times in like the last hour. It's weird how stuff like that works. Ibrahim Hussein says, any idea if the Mafate 4 will have a Gore-Tex version? Looking for a winter running shoe. I don't know if it will. I anticipate that the Speed Goat will, because the Speed Goat usually does. I don't know if the Mafate normally has a Gore-Tex version. But for both of those shoes, I'm trying to think what they looked like last year. I didn't run in them either of those last year. No, I did look. I did have the Speed Goat 4. I didn't run it. I bought like a collab version, a collectible. But this year they both have like big Achilles flares, kind of like on the mock. And so I'm like, hey, you can Gore-Tex that shoe up, but if that shoe still stays like that in the heel, you're going to get a lot of wetness in the back. You know, like if you're running in snow and it's over your ankles, you're going to get a bunch of snow. I mean, I guess in most shoes you are anyway. But this one really especially. So I'm not sure if like, I don't know. Yeah, I think I would like it. I probably would want to get a Gore-Tex Mafate 4. Just because that shoe's so fun to run in. And I feel like for winter running, it actually could work out really good. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Andrew's here, says, I'm late to say it, but congrats on the 5K PR. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. And Eliza says about the kick in the ankles. She says, good pickup. I have hip bursitis. Oh, there you go. See, you gotta work on all the ancillary muscles that we all like to ignore. You know, those are the ones that if you kick in your feet, kick in your calves, those are signs. I do it. I still do it. Mark Peterson says, Yoko, what's going on, Mark? How's it going in Minnesota today? Sean Marshall says, hey, everybody. Good to see you. And Dominic Smirnowski says, my Apple Watch literally started dying the day of the announcement of the Ultra version. Don't know what to think about this. See, I was thinking that my watch was doing the same thing too, but I looked at it really closely yesterday because yesterday I took it right off the charger and then went for a run and it died on me like as soon as I started running. I'm like, there's no way that battery is this bad. Like, how did this happen? And I'm like, and this isn't the first time it's happened. It's not just because they announced a new watch that it happened. I'm like, it happened before. But I think what's going on with mine, I don't know if this is what's going on with yours, Dominic, but here's what happened with mine. At some point, very recently, I bought a new Apple Watch charger. I don't know why I did that. I'm trying to think of why I did. Where was I? That I was like, I'm going to need music. And I don't know. But I recently bought a new Apple Watch charger. I think I might have been at home. I was at a Target or something like that. I envision it. I can't remember why or where. Maybe I was in San Francisco. I think it was when I was in Denver. I don't know. Anyway, I bought a new one. And the only ones you can get now are the ones with the metal rim on the outside for the charger. And not the one that I got originally with my Apple Watch 4 was the plastic one. Like all plastic. Or it's all white. I don't know if it's all plastic. I don't know. Anyway, it's all white. And now the new ones have a metal band around the charging puck. And yesterday, I was looking at my watch after the shower, and I noticed that it wasn't charging. I was like, what the heck's going on? So I like making sure it didn't get like jiggled off or something like that because the magnets aren't super strong. And it went back on, and then it said, charging not available with this USB accessory. Kind of like, I was like, but this, I bought like an Apple charger. I didn't buy like a third party like charger. I bought an Apple one, but it's the new one that charges faster. So I don't know if that's been messing up my old watch. I don't know if that's what's going on with you, but mystery solved for me. Today I was able to listen to the whole podcast. I listened to 2 podcasts on my run today, about 10 miles on the trails. I listened to the rest of that Believe in the Run podcast, and then I listened to the Colin and Samir, the latest one that they put out. It was good. Danny Gugliuzza says, where are the No Blast 3s? Looks like they're delayed again. Are they really? Let me check with my people. See what they know. That's a shame if it is. Because at this point, I'm like, I don't know. People are just going to not buy it at this point, I feel like, even though it's a good shoe. Like, I wonder if the first was supposed to be initial launch day. Then that changed to like, we have a little bit of inventory, but we'll have more on the 13th. And then we'll have more on the 13th, and the No Blast Trail will be out. I don't know if maybe they didn't have as much and it's already out and then I'll need to restock again, or if they're never hit on the 13th. I'll have to see. AJ says he got some from Roadrunner and got 20% off. Whoa. Well, double win. Lucas H says, received my non-elite Path shirt, some Path liners, craft gloves, and Dual Fresh Foam Morph version 4 this week. It was an expensive week, but well worth it. Excited for some new gear. That sounds good. That's a good week. I was telling my wife yesterday it's going to be an expensive month. And she's like, what does that mean? I was like, well, I ordered this new camera because a new 360 camera came out. I just ordered a new GoPro because a new GoPro came out. And I'm like, and I ordered another DJI camera because a new DJI camera came out. She's like, is it good? I'm like, I don't know, but I think I need to test it. And I'm like, oh yeah, and then an Apple Watch. And then I also bought like 4 pairs of shoes. And she's like, what? I'm like, well, you'll be busy. And I was like, yes, I will. Yes, I will. So it's expensive time for everybody, I think. I don't get any of this stuff. The cameras, I don't really get cameras. No one gives me cameras. Insta360 gives me some of their cheap ones. And yeah, that's right. That's it. DJI doesn't give me cameras. GoPro doesn't give me cameras. Apple doesn't give me watches. So, I don't know. Oh, Frank says, for the daily calendars, wasn't the best daily calendar always the Far Side? That was a good one. I think I may have had a Calvin and Hobbes one too. I was a big fan of Calvin and Hobbes. You know, there's a Twitter account for Calvin and Hobbes now, and they just post a different Calvin and Hobbes comic every day. It's really good. It like makes my day. Not doesn't make my day, but it usually brightens it. I bet you there's a Far Side Twitter account just like that too. Other like comic type accounts that I like are like Springfieldians. It's just like a random still shot of an obscure character from a Simpsons episode every day. I think that's what Twitter is turning into for me. Digital daily calendars. Just tear one off every day. Mark Peterson says, I still use the Jeopardy day calendar. Oh, really? Oh. That sounds like a good one. I think I would like that. All right, let me scroll all the way to the bottom and catch up with you guys in the chat. Tracy Smith says, did anyone see the Chicago Marathon gear from Nike? I'll be saving some money. Does that mean you like it? You're saving it because you're not going to be buying it, or you're saving up so you can buy it when you get here? I think I remember seeing it. It was like black, white, and yellow. Am I right? Or am I remembering that right? I remember thinking that it looked good. I thought I saw a preview. I can't remember. No, I think I saw the participant shirt. Like the participant shirt this year is going to be really good. You know what was the worst Chicago Marathon participant shirt? The light blue one with the bright red text that said like Chicago. That one, that was also the worst medal. It was a square medal. That was god awful. Ugh. JC says, Hyperion Tempos are holding up great. 2 years and close to 400 miles. Also looking for a new version, but I think these can easily get to 600. That's quite a bit. The rubber outsole is holding up. That's pretty good. And the other thing, the new version, I don't think that there's a new version this year. I think that it's just still the same shoe. Like, I don't think it's even like a 1.5. I think there's just a couple of new colors. I'm not sure what's going on there. Here's the other thing that I was thinking about when I was on my run today. So Thomas was interviewing Joe Rubio, who owns Running Warehouse. And he's talking about all these like symposia that he's going to. I'm guessing these are like running conventions, like conferences for like shoe retailers and stuff like that. Part of me is like, that sounds like just terrible to go to. But part of me is like, do I need to go to some of this stuff? Not from like, this will be a fun YouTube video to make, but just to like, kind of like see what, get a pulse of the industry kind of thing. I don't know. Or is there any, maybe there's a periodical I could subscribe to. Is there like a Running Retailers Monthly? There's got to be some sort of trade magazine, right? By the way, I did apply for my media credentials for TRE, and they were approved. And this year there's like, it was much more organized this year. Other years it's just been like, what's your name? You know, like on a form, and then like, 500 words or less. Tell us why you want to come to TRE. This year it was like, tell us what news organization you work for and all this stuff. And if you're not with a specific news organization, let us know if you're an industry blogger. So I put as mine industry blogger. And they were like, please give us a link to your recent work. And I linked to my last year's TRE video. So they know exactly what they're getting if they give me another press credential. So I'm going. I didn't think I wasn't going to go. I probably would have gone anyway, even if I didn't get press pass. Maybe it just crashed the party. Not the party, the convention. But I'm going to go this year. So, yep. Eric says, my favorite is the effing birds calendar. Hilarious and always on point. I'm not familiar with that. I'm going to have to look that one up. Ilya Kim says, speaking of the Invincible, I think it's the most overrated shoe. Maybe it just didn't fit me, but the shoe gave me all kinds of problems. Ankles, knees, fascia. A 10mm drop was not for me. I think that it was a very specific shoe. It wanted people to run in it like a certain way. Otherwise, it just didn't make sense. And like I felt like it was very assertive. But if you could get it to work, it worked. But if you didn't, it really didn't work for people. So, yeah, I don't think it's the most overrated shoe. I don't know. Tracy Smith says about the Chicago Marathon stuff, the Nike stuff, like the Nike collection for Chicago Marathon, I guess, is weird white and aqua. The aqua color, I think it's very much inspired. I'm guessing it's inspired by the Chicago flag. It's got 2 bands of light blue, white flag, and then the 5 red stars. 4 red stars. That's see. I've only been gone from Chicago so long, and I already forgot the flag. But maybe that's what the light blue is. I know, like the Heartbreak has some stuff for the marathon that they've put out this year, and normally I love everything that Heartbreak puts out, but like the colors, it's like a manila, like the folder color, and then like a light blue, like the Chicago flag, and I'm just not loving it. It doesn't feel nice to me. I don't know. Jason Beckman. Beckman? I don't know how to say that. It's like the letter that's the A and the E combined together. Jason Beckman says, I got my pair of Noblast 3 trails 3 weeks ago, and they have been great. I should have ran in those today instead of the Tectonics. I think I would have enjoyed that more. I kind of keep forgetting that I have those. But I'm glad I ran in the Tectonics. I'd like to... I'm trying to figure out where are the trails that I'm going to like that shoe, I don't know. Trevor Holtman said, I wish Rabbit did more original designs for their marathon kit. Yeah, I saw their Chicago marathon stuff. Like it looks like flags. It's like weird triangles and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't know. But I also don't love the Tracksmith kit either. It's kind of like it's not doing it for me. I don't know. Any thoughts on the Soar running race kits? I do have a Soar singlet coming, and I think you guys are going to like it. So I'll try it out. Let's see. Sean Marshall wants to know, what's the least durable shoe you've ever had? Oh, that's easy. That is the Hyperion Elite 1. Do you guys remember that shoe? It's the shoe that I love to talk about. The Brooks Hyperion Elite 1 was announced on a midnight drop, February 29th at midnight. $250 shoe, I believe. The estimated longevity of the shoe was 25 miles, which is a problem for a marathon shoe. And then Brooks backtracked and said, no, you could probably get up to 50 miles in it. That was the estimated longevity of the shoe. This is the time, remember, when like everyone was like, you can only run in your Vaporfly 4% for like 100 miles. Remember that? So this is about that. I mean, this was also the same weekend that the Alpha Fly first came out too. So it's not like that late. Midnight, they launch the Hyperion Elite 1 with a 25 to 50, let's say 50 to be generous, a 50-mile lifespan. And then 11 hours later, or maybe it was 12 hours later, I see Des Linden running down the streets of Atlanta in the Hyperion Elite 2. So not only did the shoe only last 50 miles, if you could get one, which I did, it was also obsolete within 24 hours. So that's the least durable shoe I've ever had. I love telling that story. Yeah. Ibrahim remembers right before the Olympic trials it drops, and Eric says it's absurd. Yeah, I remember Thomas reviewed it too, and he was like, it gets 25 to 50 miles. I think he made a video with Brooks about it. I don't know. It says Code never skips on the opportunity to hit on the Brooks Hyperion Elite 1 scam. Haha, I love it. It's just such a bizarre fiasco. You know? So Calvin says, what's the actual rules for race shoes being publicly available? What stops a brand from dropping one pair in each size and calling it a day? That's kind of what they do. I think it's like Nike has a word for it. I think it's called like the friends and family release, where it's just like a small run. But the publicly available is not really well defined. And I think that, I kind of stopped caring about the rule, the exact specifics of the rule, because everyone's kind of been bending it anyway. But there's a little bit more leeway for prototypes and race testing of shoes. And so I don't know if that was a concession to shoe brands to be able to keep letting their athletes have secret advantages, or a concession to shoe brands and like, we need to actually have our pros test these shoes before we go into production on them. So I'm not sure which way it went, but I don't know. The rules have been loosened a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Jason says, I remember during the Nike Breaking 2 event, they had shoes they claimed could only be used once. Yeah. I mean, it was the essence of the times. But the thing is, it makes sense with ZoomX because it's so soft, right? And you're like, it can't keep this level of squish and spring, squish and bounce for that long. There's just no way. But the Hyperion Elite 1 was one of the most firm midsoles I've ever run in. It'd be like if you freeze dried Light Strike. That's kind of what it felt like to me. JWP says, hey, Co, any word on SC Elite release date? According to Believe in the Run, I haven't heard anything from, I don't remember what they said. I guess, you know what? I was just reminded via email yesterday. Well, I was reminded by email a long time ago, but I only checked the email yesterday. That I went to like a New Balance like press conference thing. Not really a press conference thing, but it was under embargo, and I think the embargo's over. And they said that there'd be some limited quantities of the New York City edition of the SC Elite 3 released in late October. And I think the wider release is maybe December or 2023 even. So it's not coming out for a while. It's kind of unfortunate. I mean, at this point, I'm like, just go to 4. Are they even going to make that many? But I don't know. It's really, really late. But Thomas at Believe in the Run posted yesterday that the New York edition is going on sale 10/18. And I think they said that there's more coming in December. I'm not sure, but that's kind of what I thought I saw. Dominic Smirnowski says, I'm so tempted to look for a pair of Hyperion Elite 1 on StockX now. If you can find any, I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised. The upper was good. Martha says, was that the ZoomX or the super thin outsoles of the OG Nike Vaporfly that made it so short-lived? It was the ZoomX. It was a very different formulation of what they have now. Very different. I mean, it just felt lighter. It was a different, it was just a different, it was almost like a, what are those candies that are soup, like you eat them and they kind of like disintegrate in your mouth? Like macaroon? Not the one, I know there's a macaron and a macaroon. There's like a dessert that's like that. Or more like, no. When like a meringue gets air dried in the oven, I don't know what that's called. You ever have those? It was the foam was kind of like that. Do you remember those? I don't know. I wish I still had my old Vaporfly 4%. But that midsole foam was very different than the ZoomX you get in like the next percent. Stevie76 says, what shoes were kids wearing at your daughter's cross country race? There's a variety. The one kid who's super fast, he wins every time. I think he's an 8th grader or 7th grader. But he's running like the 2-mile course. He's doing it in under 12 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. So he's a really fast kid. Is it 12 minutes or 14? Either way, fast for his age. I think he's doing it in an old pair of 1080s, to be honest with you. I think it's a pair of 1080 version 10s, if I'm looking at it right. There's one kid that has a pair of endorphins, an old pair of like endorphin speed 1s. There's one girl who's fast on my daughter's team. She's older too. She had a cross country spike on last time, which is unusual because last week was the first track meet or cross country meet where part of the course was on blacktop, but there you could run on the grass right next to it. And then other than that, I see a lot of like Under Armour, the stuff you see at Dick's Sporting Goods. Like it's like stuff like that. Because for the kids this age too, there's not a huge amount of options. Because like even like big kids shoes, they're not real running shoes. You know, like even though my daughter has a pair of like big kids Asics Nova Blast 2s, and she has a pair of like Nike running somethings, they're like the same foam. It's just foam. It's not that great. But I've been thinking about, like, I know that Ultra makes the Lone Peaks for kids, like all kid sizes. So I've been thinking about getting her a pair of those. But like the courses she runs on, it's just grass. It's not like trails, you know? So I'm like, it might be overkill. But I feel like it, you know, you actually get like eco foam in that, I think, if I'm looking at it right. So I've been thinking about it. Matt Legrand's here. He says, Yo, Co, what's going on? What's going on, Matt? Good to see you. Did your Apple Watches come in yet? A. Smith says, you're probably not going to get that Brooks Beast invite now. I did not get invited to their party last year either, but I did fly out already. I was already out of Austin. So yeah, I don't get invited to Brooks stuff. That's okay. I mean, I feel like of all the people, it should be me because no one else has gone out of their way to make their own custom glycerins. But I mean, if we're going to talk about who likes Brooks, but you know, it's not a fan contest. So I just don't know. I don't have any contacts over at Brooks. They've never tried to reach out to me. Cheng Reaction says, Hey, Co, you're one of the reasons I start my running/shoe review channel nearly 3 years ago. My channel reaches 10,000 subs last month. That's awesome. Good job. Just want to say thank you for all the content and inspiration. That's awesome. That's super cool. Congratulations. 10,000 is a big number. That's a hard number to get to. Mm-hmm. Davin Patterson says, the New York City edition came out like 2 weeks ago and it's sold out, and the second release is 10/18. I think, yeah, that sounds right. I did not get any. Rainrunner says, I'm here. Meeting was cut short, which is always a good thing. Well, welcome. Dominic says, he found a Hyperion Elite 1 in size 9 for 150 euros. Am I interested? No, I still have mine. I'm never throwing that one away. Actually, I don't know where it is. I mean, I think I've unpacked just about all the boxes, but I haven't seen that shoe. Oh, I said I was going to always keep it so that way no one will ever forget. But now I'm trying to think. I haven't seen that in a while. I just saw my old glycerins the other day, the ones that have the Warren Buffett face on it. But I don't. Oh, maybe those are mine. Maybe I got rid of those finally. I don't know. I'm not sure. Matthias Ventos says, heck, I currently wear the 1080 version 10s as my work shoe. You know, one of the things that really surprised me, and the reason why I was thinking maybe I need to go to a running shoe conference, like a more like hardcore industry one, not like, check out the new shoes, more like, how do we survive as retailers in a brick and mortar space, those kind of things, is because they were talking about it on the podcast, and they were saying that 50% of running shoe sales go to people who never intend to run in them, or I don't know if it's never intend to run in them or never actually run in them, but like dog walking, standing, going to work, wearing them casually, like that kind of thing. 50%? And then the number they cited was that 10% are bought by like shoe nerds, like everybody here. And then another 10% are by people who think they are shoe nerds but are not, and they're buying shoes for the wrong, like for wrong reasons. And the example they gave was, they like would poll people on why they bought a certain shoe, and they were like, well, I bought this shoe because I need stability, and it has a thick heel counter, and that's stability, and that's what I need in a shoe. And I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. I don't think that's how it works, but all right. Which, that's not how it works. That's the point they were making with that example. But I'm like, those are interesting numbers. But I also feel like if I'm making shoe videos, I'm like, oh, should I make a separate channel? Like a walking channel? Like walking and running shoe? But I mean, you know what? That channel exists. That's Hez Kicks. That's Seth Fowler. They just walk in their running shoes. That's all they do. I don't think either of them run. Do they? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I mean, like, I know Seth Fowler has does a top 10 most comfortable running shoes video. Like, I mean, does he still? I don't know. I haven't watched one of his videos in a while. But he does stuff like that. So I'm like, should I do like a roundup of top 10 most comfortable work shoes? But how do I test that? I don't work like regular people work anymore. Like either people that stand on their feet. Like I'm not a nurse. I'm not I don't work in retail. I'm not on my feet. And I don't go to an office anymore. So I'm like, how do I even test that? I can't even test that anymore. I'd have to create an artificial testing protocol to determine whether a shoe is a good work shoe or not. I don't know. I guess like I could just drive to the mall and walk around the mall for like an hour and be like, all right, here's my thorough testing. It'll be like when all the tech YouTubers test the Apple Watch Ultra. I don't know. Lee says kids with big feet can order women's size shoes. That's interesting. My daughter, I know my wife and my daughter have checked this. She's not quite at the age where like she can wear women's shoes, or size where she can wear women's shoes, like the smallest women's size, like a women's size 5 or 4 or whatever. So her foot is not quite that size yet. So that's where she's at. Tracy says, I still have my original 4%. I put them on for short, faster runs, and honestly, they don't feel that different than they first did. I bet you if you had like a fresh pair, you'd be like, oh, these are way different. But then at this point, you're like, oh, but this fresh pair has been sitting in a box for 6 years. Like what happens to the shoe in that time? I don't know. Like part of me is like, oh, I don't know. So after 6 years, that shoe is going to be like disintegrated. But then I'm like, but aren't these like plastics and foams that won't biodegrade like in a landfill for like 20,000 years? So like how much can they possibly degrade in 6 years in a box? I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never actually tested how that works. Like how long does a shoe take to degrade? Steve says, on the drop, Joe Rubio implied that 2023 is going to be a good year for shoes. Agree? I don't see that much stuff ahead of time. I know what's coming down for the pike for ASICs. I have no idea what's coming for anyone else, so I can't comment. And I'm not supposed to say anything about ASICS yet, other than like it's going to be a good year for them. But so I'm always excited for the new shoes. When the new shoes come, it's like TRE is like going to like spring training or like the like the before the preseason stuff. I love what I love about TRE is that you go there and you leave because you don't try any shoes on. I didn't try any shoes on the entire time I was there. I think some people get those kinds of meetings where they get to try on the shoes that are coming on soon, but those aren't the ones that are on display and stuff like that. So like you go there and you see the shoes, and everyone looks like they're gonna have a great year. Just like in training camp, everyone looks like they're gonna win the championship that year. So there's so much excitement. I'm really looking forward to December, to TRE. It's going to be a lot of fun. Matt says his Apple Watch Ultra is scheduled for late October. Maybe Apple hates me after my last video. I don't know. Maybe. But that's what I thought was the normal shipping time, right? That's why I didn't even bother to try and order that one because I'm gonna wait till it's much colder to order mine. I don't know. Yana says you could also get my daughter, a bit used to low or zero drop. I'm used to running in 10mm drop shoes and finally tried the Mach 4, and it took a while to get used to it. Okay. I have no idea what the drops are on kids' shoes. Martha says Brooks should put you on their list. I still say the Revel is a great budget all-around shoe, and of course, you should have gotten the Hyperion Tempos from them and the G20. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Glycerin 20 that has the knit upper. I know that makes it a lot heavier, but it looked great when I saw it last year. And I think the Glycerin this year gets a new foam, so I'm excited for it. Maybe I'll look at the Ghost. I don't know. But I do have some Brooks that I eventually would like to try out. And Travis says, LOL, love my Endorphin Pro 3s. Nice. And Sean says, I credit Brooks for being a gateway drug to real running shoes. Ghost version 9, rest in peace. I do think that there's a lot of reasons for it, but I think that the Ghost is a lot of people's first quote unquote real running shoe. And I think that that makes it a very important shoe because of that. And part of me is like, if everyone's going to be getting this shoe, or if anyone that goes into a running retail is going to have a Ghost shoved on their foot, maybe I should review that shoe. Maybe it'll get a lot of views. But I'm like, I don't really like to chase views a lot. Just like I don't want to make is the Nova Blast 3 the ultimate walking shoe video? I don't want to make that video. I guess if I happen to be going to Disney World, then I might make it. And I would just grab a bunch of footage of my feet at Disney World. Then I think that'd be kind of fun. But I don't have any current plans to go to Disney World. But maybe that could be a good Ghost. No, I don't want to wear Ghosts at Disney World. I don't know. Maybe I'm being hard on it. I haven't tried it. Calvin says, Brooks are a great entry into running, but once you try the other good stuff, you notice the sparseness of higher performance options. And I think that's the thing with them, it being like a Brooks Hathaway company and being intended to, make sure it's profitable. And they're going to focus on what's profitable and not going to care much about what isn't, And so they're going to keep selling Ghosts and Glycerins. And do they still sell Adrenalines, or are they called Glycerin GTS? Isn't it? I don't remember. I have not been paying attention to what Brooks is doing, which I need to pay more attention. But they're gonna sell those, and I don't know. Has anyone even tried the Caldera? Did Robbie run an Ultra in the Caldera? I thought he did. I don't. I'm not seeing him anywhere. But I guess in fairness, I'm up here in the suburbs now. I don't really see that many runners. I saw one other runner today. Dude was actually hustling pretty hard. I didn't catch what shoes he was wearing. He was wearing a blue t-shirt or a blue running shirt. but I had to like almost jump out of his way. I wasn't paying attention. And next thing I knew, there's this guy coming down on the single track, and I had to jump out of the way. Rob DeGennaro says, what racing shoe would you pick for mostly 5K, 10K with a half or full here and there? Ooh, that's tricky. Because if it's mostly 5K, 10K, Takumi-sen all day. I love that shoe. But if you're going to run a half full in there and you want to do the 5K, 10K, I'd go maybe with the Endorphin Pro. I think that would be a really fun one to do. Because that one you could definitely take for those faster speeds, but also can handle the half. The full, I think the Endorphin Pro 3 can handle the full. So that would be one that I would look at. I would also enjoy the Sky Plus for that too, just because I like that shoe for everything. But for 5K, 10K, some people might really prefer the Edge Plus as far as the meta speeds go. The Nikes are also always going to be a good option as well. The Adios Pro can probably be another good one in there to do the 5K, 10K. But I just like the Takumi-sen so much more at 5K, 10K. So I'm like, maybe you buy two shoes if you can fit the two in the budget, because the 5K, 10K, the Takumi is so much fun. Shannon says, lots of people who don't strike me as runners wear Alpha Flies as a flex. Well, Shannon, maybe they're trying to be like, Shannon, I know you're a runner, and maybe we can be runner friends too. So maybe that's what it is, you know? Maybe they're not trying to flex, but maybe they have a limited running vocabulary, and that's their way of, you know, saying like, let's be friends. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too generous there. Eric says, it doesn't surprise me though. I'll compliment people on their running shoe with the name and model, and people will mostly stare back with me at, Did I tell you this story from Falmouth this year? So I'm running at Falmouth, and it's like mile 6. Everyone's working hard. We're all sweating like crazy, and it's getting super hot. And I see this young runner, and she's running in a pair of pink Meta Racers. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. So as I'm coming up behind her, you know, like she's in front of me, and I'm kind of pulling up like diagonal behind her. And I'm like, nice Meta Racers. And she kind of like looked at me and like didn't say anything. And then I'm still like, she's running fast. So I'm like, this is actually a good pace. So I kind of like, and there was a couple other people there too. And so there was 4 of us there, and we're all kind of together. I'm like, I like your shoe choice, the Meta Racers. You don't see those that much anymore. And she just kind of shot me a look, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll go now. And so then I just left. So I got the for sure. At least I think that's what I got. I don't know. Maybe I was being creepy. I don't know. I might heard you say, Co, have you seen the New Balance 1080 version 12 unlaced model? Not if it would be good for running. Yeah, I don't think that might work for running. It's weird though. The unlaced model, it's so curved. It's like a big smiley face, that one. It's an all knit upper. I guess I can't tell. It's black. I haven't looked at it. Didn't interest me enough to like click on it actually. But I'm guessing it has no laces. That could be a pretty comfy shoe. Like a slip-on 1080? No, I may have to go back and look at it again. Hunter Holt says, random question. How do you wash running clothes when you travel and are in a hotel for a few days? I put them, okay. I don't like to bring more than one bag, like one big luggage thing, right? So when I did have 2 bags when I went to Eugene because I was there literally for a week, like 8 days. But for like a couple of days, I'm only going to bring like a handful of running shirts. And what I tend to do is I'll pack like 2 or 3 running like outfits. You know what I mean? Like sets. And it'll depend if I'm there for a race or what the weather's really going to be like, you know, if I bring more or less. But like I'll bring like a couple of sets of clothes. And then what I'll do is I will, when I'm done with the run, I'll throw it into the shower. And then I'll wash it with soap. Like I'll hand wash everything. Depending on how many times I might need to do that, you know, how long the trip is. So I'll just hand wash it, and then I let it dry, air dry. And usually then if I have 2, then I can alternate. Then the next day I wear the other set, and then by day 3, the first set is dry, kind of thing. So that's what I do. I don't know if that's gross or not, but that's what I do. NDI says, I use my Apple Watch Series 3 to track my weight training and running through the Strava app on the watch. It's still going strong. That's awesome. My Apple Watch 4 is still, I guess, still going strong. I think maybe now that I've solved that charging issue, maybe I'll enjoy it more. But, your Apple Watch 3, I don't think it's getting OS updates anymore. I think it's deprecated, right? Am I wrong on that? I thought I saw that list because I thought I saw like the Apple Watch Series 4 was the oldest watch that they're still supporting. JC says, casual observation of people I deal with on a regular basis, almost exclusively non-runners, that wear New Balance or Hoka as everyday shoes. That's it. I'm surprised that On hasn't gotten in there yet. Other fun fact that I learned on the podcast today, the Believe in the Run podcast. On shoes are the most popular. Wait, is it On? No, I thought it would be On, but it wasn't. It was Hoka shoes are the most popular for. Is it Hoka or On? I thought it was Hoka. Hoka are the most popular. Maybe I didn't learn this fact. I need to go look it up. Hoka, I think Hoka is the shoe that is the most popular amongst caddies. I remember thinking that was surprising because I really thought it'd be On. And Thomas was like, I feel like everyone that works in a hospital wears Hokas. And he's like, well, I guess some of them are wearing Ons now. Yeah. I just saw there was a new release of a shoe today. I don't know if it was released today, but I saw it on my Instagram feed for the first time today. A new Hoka shoe that was meant for gym to casual. So remember the Kawana? That was meant for like running to the gym kind of shoe, not like what is it called for hybrid trail shoes? There's like door to trail. It was like door to gym kind of shoe. I don't think that shoe did very well. It was very firm, which makes sense for the gym, but not so much sense for running. But now they made an even thinner one, less like midsole stack height on it. It looks great though. I feel like that's where they should have released that one first instead of the Kawana. But I think that one would probably do well. But I'm guessing it's not going to have like that Hoka comfort. So I don't know. Yana says, I've walked in all my running shoes after I stopped running in them, and the Novablast 2 is the most comfortable so far. Yeah, I use the Novablast 2 for a lot of like taking the kids to the bus stop. Lately, I've been wearing the Asics Classic Courts, just like old like basketball, like retro shoes, low tops. Those have been pretty comfy. Just like a thick rubber outsole, like a thick rubber midsole / outsole. Louis says you gotta make a walking channel. I'm not gonna make a walking channel. I don't do enough walking. I think if I were an avid walker, that'd be good. Like, although like I'm in the suburbs now. I'm in a subdivision. I feel like that's like the perfect backdrop for like a walking channel. Like 4 laps around the subdivision. Guess who's, like in 4 laps around the subdivision, walking today in the 1080 version 12. Really great time out there today, everybody. Also, by the way, you'll never guess who is not mowing their lawn. Like that would be like that would be the live stream. I don't know. Now I'm kind of liking this idea. You're just gossiping about all the neighbors, walking around spying on people. All right, I gotta catch up to you guys in the chat. Actually, I think I gotta get going, because we're running a little bit long today. I had a lot of fun. Probably no video tomorrow. I'll probably have a I think I'm gonna go for a Saturday release on it. Well, maybe we'll do a Saturday. I don't know. I don't know when the next video is gonna be out. I'll have to do I'm gonna try to do a 3-hour run this weekend. I don't know if that'll be 28 miles or not, but we'll see. And I gotta try to figure out the day. The weather's not gonna be great on Sunday mornings, and my parents are here, so I don't know. Well, there'll be a video eventually, but first thing you'll see me in next is gonna be another live stream tomorrow. We'll do that same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody.